Philippine flags were already waiting before sunrise. They hung from shoulders, wrapped around backpacks, tied carefully to metal barricades outside Berlin's historic Steffi Graf Stadium, as if the people carrying them were planting tiny pieces of home in the middle of Germany. Some fans had traveled overnight by train. Some had flown across continents. Others had emptied savings accounts for a single chance to watch one woman play tennis. Not Serena Williams. Not Iga Swiatek. Not Aryna Sabalenka. Alex Eala. And somewhere inside the stadium, hours before the biggest match of her Berlin campaign, Alex Eala had no idea thousands of her countrymen were about to be locked outside the gates. She had no idea children were crying. No idea families were arguing with security. No idea that before the first ball had even been struck, the Berlin Open was already turning into something much bigger than a tennis tournament. Because this story wasn't really about tennis anymore. It was about what happens when a player stops belonging only to herself and starts belonging to an entire nation. Berlin, Germany, June 17th, 2026, 3 a.m. The fire alarm shattered the silence without warning. A violent electronic scream ripped through the Waldorf Astoria hotel corridors, jolting players awake across multiple floors. Alex Eala's eyes opened instantly. For one disoriented second, she didn't recognize the room. The unfamiliar ceiling. The darkness broken only by flashing red emergency lights. Then instinct kicked in. Move. She grabbed her phone from the bedside table and stepped into the hallway where confused hotel guests were already pouring toward the emergency exits. Some stood barefoot on the carpet. Others carried blankets around their shoulders. A few muttered angrily under their breath in different languages. And among the crowd were names recognizable to every tennis fan in the world. Coco Gauff, Eva Liss, players, coaches, staff members, all of them standing together under the cold Berlin night sky while firefighters searched the hotel. Coco tried joking about it at first, attempting to lighten the mood in the way athletes often do when exhaustion turns everything surreal. But Alex barely reacted. Her mind was somewhere else already. Donna Vekic. Grass court movement. Return positioning. Serve placement. The match. Always the match. Because less than 8 hours later, she was scheduled to walk onto center court against one of the hottest grass court players in the world. And sleep, once broken at that hour, rarely comes back easily. Eventually, hotel officials confirmed the cause. False alarm. Technical malfunction. Nothing dangerous. But the damage had already been done. By the time players finally returned to their rooms, the adrenaline was still lingering in their systems. The silence afterwards somehow felt louder than the alarm itself. Alex lay awake staring at the ceiling. Every athlete knows this feeling. The body exhausted. The mind wide awake. The clock moving faster than you want it to. She checked the time repeatedly. 4:07 a.m. 4:41 a.m. 5:12 a.m. Outside, Berlin was beginning to wake up. And somewhere across the city, thousands of Filipino fans were waking up too, preparing for what they believed would be a historic day. Most of them had no idea the chaos had already begun. By sunrise, the streets surrounding the Steffi Graf Stadium looked less like the grounds of a tennis tournament and more like a festival. Philippine flags appeared everywhere. Families took pictures outside the gates. Children practiced shouting Laban, while parents adjusted homemade signs carefully decorated the night before. One family had driven all night from Belgium. Another had traveled from Dubai during a work break. Some had flown directly from Manila only to spend barely 48 hours in Germany before returning home. For many of them, this wasn't just a tennis match. It was representation, visibility, pride. The chance to watch someone who looked like them stand across the net from the best athletes in the world and belong there completely. That matters more than people realize. Especially in sports where certain countries are rarely expected to produce global stars. Especially in tennis. And Alex Eala was beginning to change that reality in real time. Just weeks earlier, she had lifted the Birmingham title. Then came Berlin. First Donna Vekic. Then Elena Rybakina looming deeper in the draw. The excitement surrounding her run had exploded faster than tournament organizers anticipated. And now thousands of Filipino supporters were arriving at a venue that physically could not hold all of them. That reality collided with the crowd all at once. 10 a.m. The gates closed. At first, people thought it was temporary, a delay, an organizational issue that would sort itself out in a few minutes. Then security guards formed a line across the entrance. The venue has reached capacity. The announcement landed like a punch to the chest. No additional spectators will be admitted. Confusion spread immediately. People checked tickets again. Some argued. Others stared blankly toward the stadium in disbelief. A young Filipino father lifted his daughter higher onto his shoulders so she could see over the crowd. She was holding a handmade poster covered in glitter. "Alex, you make US proud." She had spent 2 days making it. Now she wasn't even getting inside. "We bought tickets weeks ago," one woman shouted. "We came from Amsterdam for this." Another fan held up her phone showing digital confirmation emails. "We paid for seats." Security guards repeated the same answer over and over.
Capacity reached.
No entry.
Capacity reached.
No entry. Some supporters started crying openly. Others simply sat down on the pavement, emotionally exhausted before the match had even begun. And still, inside the stadium, Alex Eala knew none of it. Inside, she was preparing like every professional athlete does before competition. Routine. Warm-up. Stretching. Rackets freshly strung beside her locker. Coaches reviewing tactical notes one final time. Donna Vekic waited on center court. The reigning Queen's Club champion. A proven grass court threat. A player most analysts expected to end Alex's run. Then the locker room door opened. Her manager walked in. And Alex knew instantly something was wrong. Athletes become experts at reading expressions. His face told the story before his words did. "There's a problem outside." Alex looked up immediately. "What happened?" He hesitated for a second. "Your fans." The room suddenly felt smaller. He explained the overcrowding, the ticket confusion, the people being denied entry despite traveling across Europe to support her, the Filipino families standing outside the stadium gates with nowhere to go. Alex listened silently. Then came the question. How many? Nobody knew exactly. Hundreds, possibly thousands. Her coach tried redirecting attention back toward the match. "Alex, we need to focus." But she wasn't hearing him anymore. Something had shifted in her expression. Athletes are trained to compartmentalize emotion, to block distractions, to narrow the world down to the court and nothing else. But this was different. These weren't random spectators. These were her people. The same communities that had supported her before major sponsors arrived, before international headlines, before television crews and feature interviews. They had stayed awake through impossible time zones to watch her junior matches online. They had defended her during losses, celebrated every breakthrough. And now they were standing outside, unable to enter the stadium after crossing countries to see her. "I need to see them," she said. One tournament official attempted to stop her near the corridor leading toward the entrance. "Miss Eala, security advises against." "I don't care what security advises." The sentence cut sharply through the hallway. "My fans deserve better." Outside the gates, disappointment had already started turning into heartbreak. Families slowly gathered belongings. Some prepared to leave. Then suddenly someone near the barricade screamed, "Alex!" Heads turned instantly. Phones rose into the air. And there she was. Not behind tinted glass. Not hidden beneath security umbrellas. Alex Eala walked directly toward the barriers herself. The reaction was immediate. People cried. Flags waved wildly. Children jumped up and down trying to see her. The noise swelled so loudly security guards momentarily lost control of the crowd. Then Alex raised one hand gently. And almost unbelievably, thousands fell quiet. The silence felt emotional more than obedient. People wanted to hear her. Really hear her. "I'm sorry," she said. Not polished. Not rehearsed. Real. This should never have happened. A little girl near the front started crying immediately. Alex noticed her at once. She stepped closer to the barricade until they were only inches apart. The girl lifted her glitter sign with shaking hands. Alex pressed her own hand against the barrier. "You deserve to be inside." The girl nodded through tears. And for a brief second, Alex herself looked emotional enough to cry. But then something else replaced the sadness. Anger. Not performative anger. Protective anger. The kind that appears when someone feels their people have been disrespected. She turned slightly toward tournament staff standing nearby. And then came the sentence that changed the entire atmosphere. "I am furious." The crowd fell completely silent again. "This tournament failed you." Every nearby official froze. "The WTA failed you." No athlete was supposed to say something like that publicly in the middle of a tournament run. Especially not a 21-year-old wild card. Especially not before the biggest match of her week. But Alex kept going. "My fans crossed oceans to be here." Her voice trembled slightly now, not from fear but emotion. "They spent money they didn't have. They took time off work. Some of you barely slept last night just to stand here this morning." She looked around at the flags, at the exhausted faces, at the children sitting on parent shoulders. "And you deserved better than this." A woman near the front began sobbing openly. Others followed. Not because Alex had solved anything. The gates still weren't opening. But because they felt seen. That matters. People underestimate how powerful recognition can be, especially from someone they admire. Alex looked back toward the stadium entrance, then back toward the crowd. "I'm going to play this match," she said firmly. "And every point I play today is for you." The reaction was thunderous. "Laban! Laban! Laban!" The chant rolled through the streets, surrounding the venue like a wave. Flags shot into the air. Security guards looked stunned. Even tournament volunteers started recording the scene on their phones. Alex raised her fist one final time. "Laban always." Then she turned and walked back toward center court, toward Donna Vekic, toward the biggest grass court test of her season. And somehow the pressure surrounding the match now felt completely different. Because Alex Eala was no longer carrying only her own expectations onto the court. She was carrying thousands of people with her. Inside the stadium, spectators who had managed to enter sensed the atmosphere immediately. The energy surrounding Alex felt unusually intense even before warm-ups began. Maybe word had already spread. Maybe emotion simply travels differently in sports. Whatever the reason, the crowd buzzed with anticipation. Donna Vekic entered first.
Calm.
Experienced. Fresh off the biggest grass title of her career. Then Alex walked onto court. And the noise exploded. Not polite applause. A roar. The kind usually reserved for established superstars. Vekic had every reason to expect control early. She was the proven grass specialist. The higher-ranked player. The experienced veteran. But from the opening game, something looked different about Alex. Focused.
Sharp.
Almost angry in the cleanest possible athletic sense. Every sprint felt personal. Every winner carried extra force. Every fist pump looked fueled by something deeper than competition. The first set became a battle. Momentum shifted repeatedly. Vekic's experience showed in flashes. But Alex refused to back away. At 5-5, the tension inside the stadium became unbearable. Then Alex broke serve. The sound inside Steffi Graf Stadium nearly lifted the roof. Moments later, she served out the set. 7-5, one set away. Vekic tried responding in the second. Champions always do. But Alex's confidence only grew stronger. Her timing looked perfect. Her movement effortless. And underneath it all there was something impossible to ignore now. Belief. Not hope.
Belief.
The difference matters enormously in elite sports. Hope wants something to happen. Belief expects it can. Alex Eala looked like someone who fully expected to win. And eventually she did. 6-4, straight sets. Another major grass court victory. Another upset. Another statement. The stadium erupted. Filipino flags waved everywhere inside the arena. But Alex didn't celebrate long. She shook hands quickly, thanked the crowd, then headed somewhere unexpected. Not toward media first, not toward recovery treatment, back toward the gates, back toward the people who had never made it inside. Many supporters were still waiting there. some simply hoping for another glimpse, others refusing to leave until the match ended. When Alex appeared again, the crowd surged emotionally all over again. This time she stood directly beside the barriers while reporters gathered around. "This cannot happen again," she said calmly. "My fans sacrificed too much." A journalist asked whether the situation distracted her before the match. Alex shook her head slightly. "No," she answered. "It motivated me." The quote spread rapidly across social media within minutes. So did the videos. Fans crying at the gates. Alex apologizing personally. The chants of Laban. The emotional scenes outside the stadium. Across Philippine social media platforms, outrage exploded. People weren't just talking about tennis anymore.
They were talking about respect.
Representation. Visibility. Why tournament organizers seemed unprepared for the scale of Filipino support following Alex across Europe. The WTA eventually released a brief statement acknowledging capacity issues and promising to review procedures moving forward. For many fans, it sounded cold, corporate, insufficient. But by then the story had already escaped official control, because emotionally something bigger had happened. The relationship between Alex Eala and her supporters had visibly deepened in public, and people watching could feel it. The images mattered. Alex standing at the barricade instead of hiding inside. Alex defending her fans publicly. Alex choosing confrontation over silence. That stays with people, especially in modern sports where fans increasingly crave authenticity more than perfection. The next challenge waiting for her was enormous. Elena Rybakina, former Wimbledon champion, one of the most feared servers in women's tennis. The type of opponent expected to crush fairy tale runs. But after Berlin, the narrative surrounding Alex had already changed permanently. She was no longer simply a promising player, no longer merely an exciting young talent from the Philippines. Something else had emerged this week. Something heavier, more meaningful, more dangerous for the rest of the tour. Presence. The kind certain athletes carry before rankings fully catch up to them. Opponents sense it first. Crowds sense it second. The rest of the world notices afterward. And perhaps the most remarkable part of all this was Alex herself. Because through the chaos, the exhaustion, the fire alarm, the pressure, the emotional confrontation outside the gates, she still found a way to walk onto center court and play some of the cleanest grass court tennis of her career. That says something important about elite competitors. Not that they avoid emotion, but that they learn how to carry it without collapsing beneath it. Alex felt everything that day. The stress, the responsibility, the anger, the love from the crowd, the fear of disappointing them. And then she competed brilliantly anyway. That is usually the dividing line between talented players and future stars. Talent alone wins matches. Emotional resilience changes careers. And somewhere in Berlin, between the fire alarm at 3 a.m. and the chants outside Steffi Graf Stadium hours later, Alex Eala may have crossed that line in real time. Because 1 week earlier, she was still being discussed mostly as a dangerous young prospect. A player with potential. A name for the future. After Berlin, that conversation started changing.
Fast.
Now commentators spoke about her differently. Opponents prepared for her differently. Tournament crowds reacted to her differently. And Filipino fans? They already knew. That was the most powerful part of the entire story. None of what happened outside the stadium surprised them. Not the emotion. Not the turnout. Not the devotion. Because long before the tennis establishment fully understood Alex Eala's importance, Filipino supporters already had. They saw themselves in her long before the rankings made the rest of the world pay attention. And on that cold Berlin morning, locked outside the gates of a stadium too small for the movement gathering around her, they proved something undeniable. Alex Eala was no longer just building a career. She was building something cultural, something national, something capable of filling streets thousands of miles from home with flags, chants, tears, and belief. The tennis world thought it was watching a wild card run. But outside Steffi Graf Stadium, another truth was becoming impossible to ignore. This was bigger than a tournament, bigger than rankings, bigger even than Berlin itself. Because when thousands of people cross oceans just to stand outside a stadium for someone, you are no longer watching an athlete rise. You are watching a symbol form in real time. And the terrifying part for the rest of women's tennis? Alex Eala is only 21 years old.